Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to YouGoin'Pro podcast. I want to say, I hope that if you like this podcast, like it, subscribe, and click the notification. I want to get right into it because the things that we're talking about today is how to get noticed by college coaches. This is part two, segment two. The first thing we talked about in segment one was we talked about um, it was how to get noticed. But the first tip was it's a test because every part of what you're going to go through is a test. And I talked about that so importantly because you got to understand it's a little bit more than what just you think it is. Just you're going to go to college, they're going to like you. Remember, the first tip is you're going to be tested. Everything is a test. The second thing I gave you a bonus one, and the bonus was to research the athletic, the school. Research the school. For example, there's D1, D2, D3, NAI, and JUCO. You need to research it because a lot of times we got guys and girls trying to go to the next level, and their academics may not be there. Or you might fit really good with a D2 school, or you might fit really good with an NAIA school, or better yet, I have players that just don't like school and they might want to take the JUCO route. So tip one, remember you're being tested, and the bonus was to also research the athletic benchmark. In other words, research the D1, D2, D3, NAIA. Now we're gonna get to the second part of this episode is how to get noticed by college coaches. And that second tip is stay active in your social media. Stay active in your social media. People say, Coach, I'm already active. Well, I don't know about that because a lot of times you think just by you posting something, you're active. That doesn't mean that you're active just because you're posting something. Let's get that straight. When I say post something, you have to understand what platform are you posting on and why you're posting it on. Okay, let's give an example. We got TikTok. A lot of guys or girls may be on TikTok. Well, do you think that a college coach might be on TikTok? I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they won't, but it goes back to the benchmark I gave you. Research your benchmark. Because if you research your big benchmark, other words, the school or what division you're going to go to, you'll know where they're at. Most likely, baseball scouts, college recruiters are on Twitter. You need to get on Twitter. You need to understand how Twitter works. You only can do so many characters. With that being said, always update your profile. I need you to update everything on your Twitter. Make sure it looks professional and it's up to date. Make sure when you contacting these coaches via Twitter, you got their email address, you got to get their phone number, and try to get as many coaches for that school you're looking for. That is one of the tips. But I got one more bonus tip for you for tip two. And don't take this the hard way, but I got to be very transparent with you. I need you, this is a bonus tip for tip two. I need you to get someone to honestly evaluate you. Well, coach, I got the guy been with me for so long. Well, I'm not saying that he or she is not evaluating correctly, but sometimes you may get a different source. Get another source. Get someone else that can evaluate you because this is what I want you to understand. Sometimes you may get comfortable and you might get complacent. And if you develop a relationship, they're going to say all good things about you, but you need to get someone else to evaluate you because once you get someone else to evaluate you, you will know where you really are. Because if you're good and they know that you're good, and for example, let me give you an example. Let me give you one example. When you get evaluated, there's several things that coaches are going to look for. Because I'm a coach, I know what they look for. I remember when I was getting evaluated, my situation is a little bit different, so I took a different route. But I'm gonna give you a little scenario. I'm gonna give you a story. Let me give you a story. Just have an open mind what I'm about to tell you. Just say you wasn't able to play baseball at a college and you just kind of walked on because it's possible. I did the walk on thing, and you went to a trial or a showcase and no one knew you. And I have a guy right now on my travel team right now that can pitch. And he's not on a high school baseball team, but he can pitch. He's a strictly a PO. But what has happened is he has put himself in a position so someone can see him outside of another coach that he was getting training from. So I can see something different or I can see the same thing. That's the reason of getting evaluated by two or three different coaches. And please, please do not get your father unless he's a ex major league baseball player or minor league baseball player, because normally what happens is, like I said, you don't want you want someone that is doesn't have any skin in the game. They're going to give you an evaluation based on what your tools are, because you need to be honest with yourself, because when you get to college it's just you against probably about 35, 40 guys that first fall. The first time you get to the campus, I guarantee you it's going to be like a rude awakening. I hope that you understand this. This is Coach Laurie giving you some tips. This is episode 2. We're going to have episode 3 here at Thursday. We'll have another episode with tip number 3. And I'm going to recap everything before I go. Number 1, episode 1 for the last one. If you have any questions, go back to episode 1 so you can go ahead and get a little bit more details. But the first tip was it's a test. Coach, that's not a tip. That is a tip. You're going to be tested. Remember that. Always keep that on top of your head. It's a test. And also the bonus tip was research the athletic benchmarks. Other words, research the schools that you're interested in or you think you're going to be able to go to, but also not just the athletics. Look at the academics, because you may not qualify for that school. I'm not saying you are, but you may want to look at that. Tip number 2 was, remember, what's tip number 2? Stay active in your social media. That doesn't mean post a lot of garbage. Post good things that's going to put you in front of that coach that he can say, I want to look at this guy. Make sure it's professional and make sure it's up to date. And that bonus tip that I just gave you for tip 2 was get an honest evaluation from someone besides your parents, besides your coach you've been with, someone else. Hey, this is Coach Laurie. I hope you enjoyed. This is YouGoin'Pro. Here at YouGoin'Pro, we help athletes develop proficiency in assisting them in their passion for the game they love. Hey, stay tuned. Next couple days, Thursday, we have another tip. Tip number 3. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave a tip. Leave a comment. If you like this, hit that like button. Also subscribe and get your notifications from YouGoin'Pro. This is Coach Laurie. Have a great day. Bye-bye.